Going on YouTube Live. We doing it again. This is episode 28 of the Tap In. Fresh out of work, man. Bust my behind. Worked very hard. Got through it. And I'm here. Let me see if I can clear this a little bit. Got through it. And I am here, man. I work hard, man. I wish I was, like I said, I just turned 47 2 weeks ago. And I should have been doing work like this consistently 10 years ago. But, 10 years ago, I started my trucking job. I used to work for U.S. Express. And, actually, the work I was doing was way harder. But obviously I was 10 years younger. And I was working in Pennsylvania. I was working in it was based out of Bethel, Pennsylvania, but we would deliver to like Baltimore, Delaware, Jersey, Connecticut. Did we do Mass? I don't recall doing a lot of Massachusetts. But we definitely did New Hampshire, upstate New York. And my truck was at a distribution center, Dollar General distribution center in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. But our shipping yard was adjacent to the distribution center. So we just had a bunch of trailers, and we had yard jockeys that would take our trailers and back them up to the Dollar General distribution center. They would load our truck up, and whenever it was time for us to go, we would take our tractor, hook it up to the trailer, take off, go wherever. But fortunately, when I did my training for that particular job, I had the fortune of having my car with me, so I wasn't relegated like on the weekends of just basically having a tractor and not being able to do much, or basically having to drive the tractor to Hartford, Connecticut, and then like drop the trailer rather. You can do that, you know what I'm saying? You can drop, like if you work for U.S. Express for Dollar General, you're able to like when it's your 34-hour reset and you're home in your whatever town, you can drop off the trailer and take the tractor to your respective place. But it's still like a tractor ain't meant to be driven around in the city like a car or whatever. I mean, it's better than having a trailer behind you. I did it one time. In the 6 months I was at that job, I did it once. Me, my 34-hour reset, I would go back to the distribution center, drop my trailer, park my tractor, get out, get in my car, and then drive home. Only problem was, it's a 4-hour. Hey, what up, Ezra? Only problem was it was a 4-hour commute. You know what I mean? So it's 4 hours to get there, 4 hours to get back. So if you got a 34-hour reset, essentially, I only got 26 hours. 26 hours of home time. And then you got to figure, out of those 26 hours, you take 16 hours for sleeping. Basically, I only got 8 hours. I only got 4 hours per day to enjoy the family. That's no way to live, man. That's terrible. I'm doing good, Ezra. You know what I'm saying? So if I would have stuck with it like a few more months, maybe things would have been different. I only stuck with them for 6 months. Then I got out of trucking and I got more into passenger driving, like limousines, party buses, you know what I'm saying, limo buses and things of that nature. So I was doing that for a few years. Basically, I got into that like between 2018. I started working for a limo company in 2020, and then and it was crazy because like when I started working for the limo company, he said, "Do I play Roblox?" Nah, I never played that. When I started working for the limo company, they was like, "Yeah, you gonna make $75,000 a year." You know what I mean? And not even with that much hours, because like with tips in the limo industry, sometimes you make like $45 an hour. Like it's possible. But here's the thing: I got the job. I got hired like in February of 2020. I know the date, February 20th. Legit. Maybe 3 weeks after I got hired, COVID hit. And if you worked for the travel industry during COVID back then, like the majority, like the company, I still work for them on the side, but the majority of our business was like charter flights, like picking up flight crews and things of that nature. It's just the business was damn near non-existent. And the way that job worked, you give them your availability, but they pretty much let you know when you're gonna work like the day before. Like you'll get a call or you'll get a text like around noon. And they it got so bad that it would be times where they wouldn't hit me up for a month, for weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. No calls, no texts, no nothing. So at that time, I had to get partial unemployment, and I was doing Instacart. Now, the good thing about that situation is, hey, what up, V-Dub? The good thing about that situation is, once COVID hit, like basically, if you work for Uber Eats, or what was it? Grubhub, Postmates, Instacart. We was like first responders. You know what I mean? So I made a lot of money during that time, man. Because there was nowhere to go. The only thing that there was to do was to just make money and stay home. So like now I'm banking all of it pretty much. I'm banking 900. It was nothing to save up for me. It's a lot, but it was nothing to build up $7,000-8,000 like within a relatively short amount of time. Now, granted, I wound up getting a girlfriend the very next year, and I pretty much spent all that money. You know what I mean? But I was killing it, man. Like, it was, yeah, a lot of money was accumulated, you know what I mean? But a lot of it was wasted, you know? But I feel like I haven't driven an 18-wheeler. I have not driven an 18-wheeler in 10 years. So if I was going to go back into that industry, I would need to be trained for like 2 weeks. And I basically would have to start over from the bottom, which in the trucking world, you can move up pretty quickly in the ranks, but I still would have to like take my lumps for at least 3 to 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't want to go back through that, man. I'm a stand-up comedian at heart. Any of these jobs I do, like I work for a welding company, and my main job is I deliver welding tanks, whether it's propane, acetylene, I deliver oxygen, I deliver carbon dioxide, nitrogen. I deliver basically high pressure tanks and liquids to various businesses, whether it's garages, welding shops. We deliver oxygen to hospitals. We deliver carbon dioxide to restaurants, beer gas to restaurants, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And the cool thing about this, it only requires a Class B, but anytime you got to get on the road is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a dangerous job, but people be thinking it's like Grand Theft Auto and the trucks just randomly blowing up. Like, if you feel how hard if you like hit those tanks, how thick those tanks are, man, you need like a missile. Like basically an Iranian. Like, now this is the joke part. Like if I was a sleeper cell, you know, I would hit the infrastructure of America, and there's so many propane places and places that got those types of chemicals that you put the right bomb, man. Like if you cripple all the places that have propane and things of that nature, it's not even about it being like a bomb. that's going to wreck the city. But what it's going to do, it's going to slow down the infrastructure of everything. Because every forklift that you see in every business, they need a propane tank on the back of that. Every forklift need. Now I don't sleep 16 hours. Now I sleep about 6 hours. What I was saying was, with the 34-hour reset, if I'm commuting basically 8 hours, that only gives me about 26 hours for the fam. And then you got to factor in, no, I'm not going to sleep 16 hours, like 8 and 8. But you know what I mean? Just overall, if you're like a normal human being, you take away that 16 hours, that only leaves you with 8. But even if you sleep 4 hours, 5 hours, you know what I'm saying? That's what that 10 hours, you know, total. That's gonna add what, 7 hours a day with the fam? That ain't enough, nah, man. But anyway, with this job, you need your hazmat. You don't need a class A, you need a class B. And it's very, very, very busy because like the company I work for, we one of the only companies that really do this. There's only like 2 or 3 companies out here that offers this service. So, yo, it's just mad business. Like so many businesses need these tanks, and y'all don't, people that don't understand this, y'all don't get it, man. What's up, Death Row Records? Oh, y'all trying to say like Suge Knight? Not funny. But people don't understand how essential high pressure gases are for like the infrastructure of America. So if I was a terrorist, you know, I'm not trying to give no ideas, but you know what I'm saying. And I'm sure there's smart individuals, you know what I'm saying, way smarter than I am. So I'll just be thinking of the possibilities. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. The funny thing is people use death as the motivation, you know, to get people to do stuff, as if people weren't dying since the beginning of time. People dying is as common as taking a poop, literally. Everybody poops, everybody dies. The only reason why we fear death is because somebody taught us that death is a bad thing. Death is something that we know is going to happen, but we don't know what's on the other side. So they basically taught us that death is a bad thing, and then they created in our minds that if you follow this God, not only will you avoid death, but all these beautiful things are awaiting for you. And if you don't follow that God, you're either going to not exist, you're going to burn forever, be destroyed. The one common hook is death. You take away teaching children that fearing death, or that something bad is going to happen to you, or you have something good to look forward to when death is over, you completely change humanity, man. Humanity is completely different, dude. But you know, I'm just trying to be deep, whatever. You know, that's not a motivating factor for me. But you know, the whole world, oh, asteroids is in Earth, God is coming. There's wars everywhere. God is coming. You know why people think this is like they've been saying it's the last days for 2,000 years. The only reason why this feels more like the last days, well, first of all, we're alive during these times. How do you think people probably felt during 1942 when the world was literally fighting against each other? They probably felt like the world was about to end. How do you think people felt during 1914 during the First World War? They probably thought the world was about to end. How do you think people felt during the Civil War when America was literally imploding and fighting itself and whole families was dying and stuff like that? They probably thought the world was going to end. How do you think people felt when the Revolutionary War was going on? You know what I'm saying? They probably thought the world was going to end. How do you think people felt during the Crusades when people was getting slain left and right? They probably thought the world was going to end. You know what I mean? The only thing that makes it more magnified now is this thing I'm using right in front of me, man. We all got cell phones, man. Say hi from Italy. Hey, how do you say it name? Eduardo Franica. I'm driving, so it's hard for me to read. What up, Eddie? I'm gonna just call you Eddie F. Eddie F from Italy. What's good, Eddie F? What's good? So it's like religions, man, they always doomsday, the world about to end, you about to die, as if nobody ever died before. I can see if nobody ever died before, and now all of a sudden people started dying, then to me that would be a more genuine hook. But y'all selling death as it being a bad thing as if nobody ever died before. One of the worst things you could teach your child is to fear death. Now, have them respect death. We don't want people like foolhardy and just rushing the life process. No, the fact that you're gonna one day, I don't like saying die. One day you're gonna transition to another plane of existence. You want to enjoy this physical reality as much as you can, embrace it as much as you can, because you don't know what's going to happen once it's over. You know what I'm saying? But to just have this fear, like, oh my gosh, I gotta do everything that I can do possible, and I only got this limited amount of time, and I gotta rush. That's a scarcity mindset. That is a scarcity mindset of existence, and that's just something that I don't have, man. I don't. That's not to me. It's not an excuse to live reckless. There's a balance. It's not an excuse to live reckless, but it's also not a reason to live in fear, because you're going to transform one day. It is what it is, man. Look at me. I've been being deep philosophical for 16 minutes. All right, my Facebook friends, man, quote unquote friends, they get so emotional. Oh, if you like this politician, I don't like nobody that likes this politician, blah blah blah, and you can go F yourself, and I hope you die. And I'm like, the only reason why people have the opinions that they have, not because they know the person, it's because whatever media, whatever information that they're consuming, it's a confirmation bias, and it is against, and it is in agreement with being against whoever they hate, and it's basically just feeding you ideas that you want to believe without being objective. So you're creating this enemy based on these television images from only like the 2 or 3 channels or the two or three news sources that are completely biased against that person. So is that opinion really yours? Or are you being conditioned by the things that you constantly feed yourself? If you constantly eat sugar, your teeth get weakened, blood pressure go up, you probably gonna get diabetes. You become what you feed yourself. If you're constantly feeding yourself negativity, you become negative. So you need a more balanced approach. For everybody that says whatever on the right, that tries to expose a politician on the left and say he's bad, the same thing happens on the left. They'll say whatever on the left to try to expose some politician on the right, and both of them believe that they're equally right. So I take the good, I take the meat, I pause, you know, I'm Northeast, gotta say pause, but I take the meat, I consume what I feel like is beneficial, and I cast out what I think is BS. And I would never let these images and these videos about people who I don't know, which is essentially just entertainment, let me formulate an opinion, not only just about them, but hating my friends just because they align themselves with a politician. I'll never do that. If a friend that you've known your whole life stops being your friend because they like the ideology of a politician that you don't agree with, or you guys are in disagreement with, then that was never your friend, man. Really, it's not easy. I don't make it racial. You got people that's 2 black individuals. They've been friends their whole life. 20, 30, 40, 50 years. But because one agrees with one politician, and most of the politicians are white, let's keep it real. So you literally got 2 black people that agree with politicians, and they don't agree with the politicians that the other friend agrees with, right? And as a matter of fact, they hate the politician that their friend agrees with. So because they hate that politician, a person that they don't know, a person who their opinion is only formulated because they only watch one news cycle, now you hate your friend? That was never really your friend. Me and my girl, we don't politically, we don't agree. You know what I'm saying? We don't agree at all. We don't agree at all. But I let her be known. I was like, baby, this is what you're gonna believe. You're not trying to see no other way. You're not trying to be objective. You are fueled by hate by the situation. I said, but that don't got nothing to do with me and you. Period. If we can't have these comfortable, you know what I'm saying, like civil conversations about these fictitious images, because at the end of the day, unless you really know somebody, even like y'all looking at me right now, this shit ain't real unless you see me in real life. So I say, baby, unless we see this person in real life, that's not real. Me and you together, sleeping in the bed together every night, kissing and going on dates and enjoying laughter together, that's real. So why would you throw away something that's real based on something that's fake that you chose to feed yourself over and over? And oh nah, man, I don't do that, man. I used to make jokes about Kamala Harris all the time, but I never came from a hate standpoint. I'm just making jokes. As a comedian, that's what I do. I make jokes about Kamala, I make jokes about Trump, I made jokes about Biden, I made jokes about George Bush, I made jokes about Bill Clinton, I made jokes about Barack Obama, I made jokes about everybody. That's what I do. I may prefer some politicians less than others. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, I'm not gonna let them like dictate my temperament towards my friends. Ain't no way. Because if you let that happen, that was never your friend. I'm eating grapes. For those that don't know, I've been suffering from IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, probably for the last 5 years, but like really intensely within the last 2 years. I think the older I get, you know, your body starts to slow down, and whatever it was doing for my digestive tract when I was younger, it's just not as effective. I tried everything, enemas, you know, a lot of things will give temporary relief, but the pain just kept coming back. I'm changing up my diet, you know, probiotics, all this kind of stuff, man. And then finally I was thinking to myself, what if I start doing some like more intermittent fasting, and I give my body a chance to kind of like, you know, like once you fast, your body goes into ketosis, and what happens is your body produces ketones, and these ketones are chemicals that break down the fat to convert it into a source of energy, because your body likes carbohydrates first before anything. And I asked AI, if I do that, will those ketones help regulate my digestion? Because something was intuitively telling me it may have something to do with that. And it said, yes, it will help you lose weight and it'll help with the fat, but it won't help with your digestion. But what it told me was, you don't really necessarily have to intermittent fast, but whenever you eat, like say you eat a nice meal at noon, it told me don't eat anything else for 4 hours, because it takes about 4 hours for your food to properly digest, and then something kicks in your body, in your small intestines, that kind of sweeps out your small intestines of all the waste and the excess or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? But that mechanism doesn't kick in if you're constantly grazing food. Those two things don't work at the same time. Either your body's digesting or either it's sweeping internally. And the last 2 days, I've put that to the test, and trust me, I didn't try everything: suppositories, enemas, laxatives, all types of stuff. I'll be happy to say, the past 24 hours, I haven't used a laxative. I have not used a warm water enema. I haven't drank Marilax. I haven't done none of that, and I actually feel better. I think I cracked the code. I still got to eat my probiotics. Probiotics, basically, your body, you have gut bacteria. Those are probiotics. And what probiotics do is they help digest your food. It's the thing that helps break down the foods once you eat. Now, prebiotics is basically the food for the probiotics to give it energy. And then I think postbiotics helps break down the waste or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So when you're constantly taking enemas and constantly flushing yourself, you flush your body of the necessary nutrients and the necessary probiotics to help break stuff down in your gut, man. I mean, I'm getting real scientific with y'all. I'm not even being funny at all, but you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know how I got on this topic. I'm just trying to kill time. I'm trying to stick to what I said I was going to do. This originally started as a podcast, like an open mic. I want to catch to call in or tap in on Facebook Live, but Facebook Live, Facebook in general, they've been censoring me since 2020, and I can't even monetize my page until April 2nd. So I was like, and then to download the video from Facebook and upload it to YouTube, it's just too clunky. So you know what? Listen, y'all getting the direct entertainment right now, man. Right now. But yeah, man. What was I talking? Yeah, just trying to, yeah. Well, I was talking about the politicians. People just getting so stirred up and just being, how could you be so angry over somebody you don't know based on a biased news channel, man? That's crazy. Like anything that I learned about Kamala, yes, I probably listen to things that are more biased against her, but I just listen to balanced things in general. And I never came at her from a point of hate. I just, like, she said some stupid stuff. She washed greens in the bathtub. If you're black, you're not washing greens in the bathtub. She listened to Tupac and Snoop Dogg in college, but she was in college in the mid '80s when them dudes was teenagers. You know, she bragged about smoking weed in college, but got a lot of people locked up for smoking weed. So it's just, you know what I mean? It was just hard to take her serious. So I just say the real stuff, man. I think all the politicians are crooked. To be honest with you, I think ultimately, unless you're trying to be in the military or unless you're trying to be in the government, just talking and just protesting. How you want to protest in a liberal town about conservative leaders? You should be in them conservative towns protesting. I just don't get caught up in all that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get my IBS right. I'm trying to get my credit right. You know what I mean? Trying to become the dopest stand, even though I'm not being funny at all right now. But I feel serious, right? I don't feel like I'm in a funny mood right now. So you know, this is what it's going to be. This is what it's going to be. You know what I hate? When you tell people you're a comedian, and like, oh, you're a comedian, really? I got a joke. Yo, you could use that joke. Like, no, I'm not. I'm not going to use that joke. If you see somebody and they're like a Harvard calculus professor, like, oh, you're a calculus professor? I got a couple of equations that no, you're not going to say I got a couple of equations that you like. I tell you like this: it is harder to become a successful stand-up comedian than it takes longer to become a successful stand-up comedian that can afford himself make a living and take care of his family than it is to become a brain surgeon. That's real. To really become a comic, like really getting it like that, it's like 15 years, man. 15 years. And who's willing to go to college for 15 years for their pursuit? Now wait. Being a successful stand-up comedian is one of the hardest professions, but the greats, they make it look so easy. That's why so many people think they can do it. And then, you know, with the advent of with social media and just these different platforms paying money out the A just because they're drawing like attention, just because they're getting attention with their content. And it's not even talent, it's just they just have polarizing personalities, but there's no art or there's no talent in it. Any and everybody think they can do this shit, yo. That shit is crazy, man. Any and everybody think they can do it. They can't, man. You know, you'll see a fly by night, like somebody will have a little decent run, you know, a little 15 minutes of fame. Antoine Dodson, like no shade, but you know, and they made Antoine Dodson a star by accident. He didn't even know. That's how it is. Like, social media is so crazy. You could just say something, you know, get caught on camera, just saying something polarizing. Somebody takes that, make a song and remix it, and damn, you inadvertently famous. Yeah, it happens all the time, man. That shit's crazy, man. It happens all the time, legit, man. Listen, I wasn't trying to be funny today. I just dropped a little science, a little knowledge, a little information as I taught all. my young and up and coming comedians and anybody interested in this game, no such thing as writer's block. There is no such thing as writer's block. If the comedy universe is not giving you any creative ideas, it is the comedy universe's way of telling you that you need to work on the ideas and perfect the ones that you already created. Stay out of the drama, focus on the funny, and enjoy this ride. Life is an experience. It's not something that's happening to you. It's just something that you're dealing with and going through. Peace. How do I stop this?